Hi everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Taking another look here at SUI, seeing what's going on. This is a coin I get a ton of requests for. It's pretty popular at this point. Obviously, people are kind of losing interest a little bit because the price is pulling back. But that's all the more reason why we might want to pay closer attention, because we may actually get a bounce off this 79-cent previous 0.5 fib level. It's a common retracement area, but once again, 0.69 is even more common, so wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit further downside, especially expecting Bitcoin to pull back maybe a little bit further. We still have a lot of invalidations we want to look at for all coins, honestly, specifically Bitcoin, which does translate to SUI in a sense. While it's not exact, SUI is bleeding out pretty hard. And it's just important to kind of recognize the correlation or dissimilarities. Now, if we do take a quick look here at our premium group, we took some nice profits here from Bitcoin, of course, a short 46% in 1 week. 2 days profit here for SUI, good 38%. And of course, we had a few other trades too, like an Ethereum long, for example, and a near protocol long. So we're hitting both angles on the trading, longs and shorts, but when it comes to SUI, I'm just leaning more towards the price still pulling back, mainly because we have a heavy amount of liquidation to the downside. And keep in mind, liquidation kind of just, it tells us a lot, right? It tells us there's a lot of support, which is a good sign. We want to be able to kind of buy the dip, so to speak, when there's support. But you got to recognize too, there's so much fair value here left open, like this monumental increase from just say 66 to, well, its highest point. It's slowed down right here at about 81 cents, but as we get into that range, we're starting to see a lot more price pull back and a lot more consideration for the price to continue lower. Okay, now again, it should bottom out soon. I don't think we're going to see that quite that low, but you see all that value left in the charts there. The whales are going to be trying to eat all this here. So this monumental increase, a lot of times that gets filled eventually. Okay, so it may not be right now, maybe in the future, maybe never, but for the most part, we can expect that area to get retested at some point. And that kind of ties into Bitcoin still establishing lower lows and lower highs. Make sure you watch my Bitcoin video daily so you know exactly what I'm talking about there. But there's still a lot of bearish divergences on all time frames for Bitcoin, okay? And if that is the case, and just say Bitcoin continues to diverge, what do you think is going to happen with SUI? You think it's going to have a magical recovery and just bounce? No, there's no reason for it. We've already lost our more local high, which is about 87 cents. So if you kind of look at that area there, you can recognize that that is more than likely going to be the next area of retracement. So if the price does end up jumping up like this, I'm willing to speculate we're going to see the price continue to pull back further from there. Okay, so that'd be a solid consideration for entry, just basically because it was a previous resistance level, turned support, now it's resistance. Okay, I know that seems kind of weird. Like, why would this level be like a a consistency in trading? But a lot of it's mindset of those who control the market and where they consider the price point to be important. We have that strong point of control at about 85 cents. We're below that right now. All the more reason why we're probably going to see further downside for SUI. So to those holding a short open, I'm going to lean more towards the short continuing to pull back, or more so importantly, continue to gain profit. So just a heads up on that. But let's talk about some things realistically here too, because again, we never want to put our blinders on and just be like, I'm so bullish or bearish on this coin. Okay, you can temporarily have that mindset, but long term it's not ideal. Anyways, we see 50 on the RSI. We can see here that's a potential bouncing point. So one slight consolation. MACD's diverging, stochastic RSI is pulling back. There's no reason to hold open a long position or to take one just yet. 4-hour time frame, we're below all moving averages. The more important one, sorry, not all, I apologize. There's a 200 SMA below the price action at 0.5 fib. Another reason why I've talked previously about that maybe being a bouncing point for us. But we got 50 and the 20-day SMA right here at about 89 cents, right exactly at that local point of control. So all the more reason why if the price does end up coming back up, that would be a solid consideration for a short. We want to recognize here as well, on the 4-hour time frame, we're under 50 on the RSI. That's generally a bearish sign. Stochastic pulling back and MACD still diverging. So 4-hour time frame has very little going for it as well. The only consolation is that 200 SMA at the 0.5 fib level. So if you want to kind of take a tight long at 79 cents, I wouldn't fault you for that, because that would be a possible consideration, but we're still not overextended. So I would say the price going further down is likely. That's not really a strong area of support. SMAs are more like support ranges, not necessarily a support level. So please understand that. Some people kind of put a lot of bearing or a lot of weight into it, and it should be a complementing factor, not the only factor. The thing you want to have as more weight, in my opinion, is the Ichimoku cloud. So for example, this is a series of moving averages, but it gives you two different leads, the upper and lower, and both of these are confirming that we're going to see a rejection about 87 cents if the price recovers. Furthermore, Conversion line is below the baseline still, and lagging spans free and clear. These are all confirming factors saying do not open a short and to leave your short position. Sorry, do not open a long and keep your short position open. Okay, so at this point, there's no reason to warrant a long position. If you insist on taking a long, ensure you secure profit somewhere between here and the highest point of about 87 cents. And just recognize this amount of volume on liquidation is a heavy concentration. I mean, we got $500 million at 79 cents. We got $500 million at 76, 400 million at 75. Like the list goes on. There is billions of dollars being liquidated on the way down, and they're all abstinent people like you and I. Some of them. I mean, I wouldn't say myself, but generally people that are not willing to sell because they're just holding on for dear life, right? And that's okay. But when you have liquidation and leverage involved, you absolutely want to protect your investment. Move your stop loss higher if you're in profit. Heaven forbid you get stopped out and you walk away with some green in your pocket. It's going to be a lot better than some red, I can tell you that. You're going to have a bitter beer face if that happens. It's not fun. Anyways, my considerations for a short will be 87 cents. It seems like a pretty definitive line in the sand there, not just based on Fibonacci, but previous resistance turned support and now another resistance level. You can also see it worked as a resistance here as well when it was recently tested. Again, these lines are not definitive. The price can waver above and below, but it's pretty obvious that 87 cents is that range of resistance. Okay. So the price comes back up here, consider a short at this point for the price to pull back further down. It would just make a lot more sense. So I'm going to welcome the price jumping up to 87 cents. I got an alert at 86 just in case that triggers. I will go ahead and consider a short position if it's appropriate at that time. I'm not going to blindly take a short there, but it seems like a pretty logical place if we even see that. We may not see that the price may continue to run. Bitcoin is struggling at the 58.5 mark. If we break above the local point of control for Bitcoin at 58.5, 58.6, then we may see a run or a slight relief rally here for a lot of alts this weekend. But I'm not expecting too much. We'll see here soon. It's still best to be patient. Again, people, wait for better opportunities. You're better off missing a risky opportunity than taking one and getting in the red immediately. Okay, it sucks. It's terrible. I know. I've been there plenty of times before. It still happens sometimes too, right? Nobody's perfect, but 80-85% success rate on average for our swing trades, mainly because we're patient. That's all there is to it. That's the foundation. That's the reason for it. I'm not just some amazing trader. I'm just literally a patient trader that likes to wait for confirmation. So that's what I try to teach. Try not to trust those moon boys out there. This is not going to the moon anytime soon. If it does, it's a complete fundamental catalyst we have no control over. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.